Alright guys, in this video we'll be talking about for loops, and before I continue talking about for loops, I just want to make sure to say this, that for loops is extremely important. It's one of the widely used loops among all the other loops that we have, like while loop, do while loop. And if you understand for loops, it'll be a lot easier to code multiple lines of program and to compress them into one simple couple of line program. So please keep in mind when you're learning for loops. If you don't comprehend instantly, make sure you go back and watch this video again, or just let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you out. So we'll be learning about for loops, and let me just show you the structure of for loops. The way for loops is that you're passing a for, and then there's a statement 1. So inside the parentheses, just like the way we declare any other loops, just like the way we declare switch statements, you have to type in for and then parentheses and then followed up with curly braces. Then here we're actually going to pass in 3 different statements. So we're going to pass in statement 1 and then put a semicolon, statement 2 semicolon, and then statement 3, and then without a semicolon. And then inside here we're going to type in code that needs to be executed. So what statement 1 is that it's basically a one-time thing that it's a one-time thing, and we are assigning a value here. Statement 2 is a certain condition, like a trade-off, that if this is true, then make the for loop run. So that's a conditional value. Just like the if-else statement, we're passing in the condition as statement 2, conditional statement. So if something is true, run the loop. And then statement 3 is actually implemented after the code has been executed. So while going through 4 statements, it'll actually run statement 1. If that's correct, then it'll go on to statement 2. If that's correct, then it'll run the code. And after the code has ran, then it'll go back to statement 3 and actually implement statement 3. So that's how things work in for loops. We're going back to our addition. We're going back up front to actually calling that value. So statement 3 will actually run once the code has been executed. So now let's write a for loop statement then. So let's declare a var x and then type in for. Let's assign a value of x equals 0, and then here we're going to type in if x is less than 5, which is true, semicolon, x plus plus, and close it out and start off curly braces. Now what this is saying is we're assigning a first time value. That's statement 1. This is pretty obvious. We have to assign a certain value. Then we're passing in a certain logic saying that if x is less than 5, then run this loop. So now it's gonna run this loop, console.log x, until x is greater than 5, until x exceeds 5. And what governs that is this x plus plus statement. Remember, plus plus means we're just incrementing the value. So it'll print out 0, then it'll go back, it'll change the value of x to 1, and then it'll actually run this command again. And then now x is 1, it'll go back, change the value of x to 2, and then run this command again. So if you Control S and save, and go to your file, and just refresh the page, you'll actually see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now 5 is not executed because it is obviously less than 5. If we say equal to 5, then actually we will see 5 there. So that's how for loops work. We're actually passing in we're assigning a value a, b, we're passing in a conditional statement. Then there's a bump here where we are actually going inside the function, inside the loop, and executing the code, and then coming back again to increment this value. So let's try out one more thing here. Let's pass in. We can obviously change this to say it's greater than, until x is greater than or equal to 5. And what this will do is this will actually not run the for loop statement, because this is a false statement. X currently is not greater than 5. It has to be less than 5 for this to run. So this is actually a true or false statement right up here. Let's try out with an array. So for loops are widely used with an array. Let's pass in an array that goes with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, if I want to print out all these values inside an array, I can obviously do console.log x, and that'll give us a funky console log kind of output. But if we want it in a simple form, we use for loop statements. So we pass in for. We don't pass in x here. We actually pass in a different variable. Now what I'm going to show you is I can just basically type in var I equals 0 here. Okay, and since array starts with 0, I have to type in 0 here. And then what I can do is, when I is less than or equal to x dot length, that'll actually mean how long the array is. And then we'll type in I plus plus, close it out. And then when you console.log and then x, and open up the array and pass in I. This is complex to comprehend, I know, but just bear with me. So I is actually what we're looping through. So I is going to be 0 here. It's going to print out 1. Then we're going to increment the value of I to 1. Now I is going to be 1. We're going to print out 2. I is going to be 3. We're going to print out. I is going to be 2. We're going to print out 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That's how we're going to go until we hit a certain point where the length is equal to the value of I. So if we Control S to save, and then if we hit refresh, we'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why this is undefined is because we have passed in equal to sign. If we get rid of that and hit refresh, we'll actually get rid of Control S. We'll actually get rid of undefined. So that's how for statements works, for loop works, sorry. And if it's confusing, don't worry about it. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice and actual implementation to get used to the for loops. Obviously, I can even show you something, a little trick here. So if let's say you want to print out all the even numbers from 1 to 100. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, var x equals 2, all the even numbers, and then x is less than or equal to 100, and then x plus equals 2. I can do that, and then type in console.log and then x, and we'll increment the value of x by 2 every time. So there you go. It's all the even numbers from 1 to 100. So see how easy that is. Instead of console.log, doing console.log like 50, 60 times or 99, 150 times, we can actually implement this. You can type in a for loop inside a for loop and actually see how it goes, but that'll be a topic of some another day. It's a little advanced topic. I just wanted to go over some of the basics of for loop. So I hope you learned something in this video. Keep practicing for loop, pass in, try to output odd numbers. If you can, try to output prime numbers as well. That's a little tough, but keep going, keep learning with this. And this will probably be the last video on the basics of JavaScript. Next up will be advanced topic in JavaScript. If you're curious about JavaScript, you can check that video out, and you'll actually learn a lot more about JavaScript, much more than what we went over here. So that's pretty much just it for this video. Thank you so much for keeping up with this lesson, and I hope you learned something out of this lesson. Thank you.